Hi, and welcome to this lunch seminar on how to manage stress. After this seminar, you will know what stress really is, how it will or how it can affect you. And we will also have a few good tips on how to manage it. But I would like to start with giving you my experiences of stress. And this is a representative of a year. So which year did Mark Zuckerberg launch Facebook? Which year did Stefan Holm win the Olympic gold medal in high jump in Athens?
2004.
Yes, 2004. By that time, I was with Volvo IT working with IT-related trainings. And I was asked, do you want to have this role as a training lead for a global finance project? And when they were telling me about this project, the alarm bells, they were ringing so loud in my head. They was doot, doot, doot. And what do you think that I said? Yes, let's roll, let's rock. So from that moment on, it was full throttle. And it went on for months. And it didn't take that long until I felt pretty low on energy. Even though I was tired, I had a hard time sleeping. Even though I slept pretty well at night, evening or in the evening, but I woke up like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Oh, I must remember this. And very often I got out of bed and start working by that time. And I mean, it's not healthy. Okay. At work, they wonder, when is the training material finalized? And I just asked them, when do you have a functional system? Because I'm a little bit depending on that. And by this time, I didn't laugh very much, even though I love to laugh. But at this time, it was just work, 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 work. And this is pretty much how my life looked back then, even though this slice, sleeping here in this pie chart, it's probably a little bit too big. It was work, 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 work. And I was on my way to being burnt out. But there were actually two things that saved me. So one of these things were Trafikverket. So they are in charge of infrastructure, you might say, here in Sweden. And if you have been to Gothenburg, maybe know that Volvo is located at the island of Hisingen, and that's actually the 5th largest island in Sweden. But Hisingen is connected to Gothenburg. And to get to Hisingen, then you either have to go by a tunnel or over a bridge, and I used a bridge. The summer 2005, then Trafikverket realized that they need to do a major reconstruction of it. But they didn't do it in the summertime when there was a little traffic. No, they waited until the holidays ended, and then they closed the lane in each direction. So the traffic jams, they were so severe. So it was actually fast for me to go to my office by riding my bike. So I got 2 times a day, 40 minutes physical exercises. And that is very good for managing stress. And I will come back to that later on. So that was one thing, Trafikverket. The other one was 1st of November, all these 170 training sessions will start in 9 different locations worldwide. And there's nothing more I can do by that time. So I know pretty much what stress is. And I have used that experience afterwards. So I have been writing books, I have worked with health and well-being, and I also prevented people to being burnt out, just to tell them what they can do instead. So, okay, so that's my experiences of stress. Now let's start to look at what stress really is. Okay, so how would you bet on in a 100-meter dash race? The human or the cheetah? Yeah. And who has the most powerful jaws, the sharpest teeth here? Yeah, it's pretty amazing that we have survived as a species, because we are not strong, we're not fast. But one of the things that has helped us to survive, that's stress. And that's the original function of stress. Increase the likelihood to survival. That is the original function of stress. And it has been pretty successful since you are sitting here listening to me today. Imagine that you were an engineer and you were working with developing different species. And one day you get the blueprints of human on your desk, and then you ask, okay, is human fast? No. Strong? No. Can human fly? No, no, no. Not a chance. Okay, so what are the advantages with us as humans as compared to other species? What are our advantages?
Our hands.
Our hands, yes.
Our brain.
Our brain, exactly. We have a large brain where we have the creativity, logic, and things like that. We have the reptile brain as well, but we have this large brain. Yeah. There are a couple of things. We're living herd, where we have a very good stamina. Other animals, they can run away from us, but we get after them, and then they run away, and we get after them, and finally they don't have the energy to run away from us anymore, and we can have our meal there. Okay, so they know a couple of things that is in our advantages. Then you start looking at the construction, and then you say, okay, this part here, is that important? Oh yes, that's the throat, it's very important. The oxygen goes in here, and the instructions from the brain goes back there. So the throat, it's very, very important. Okay, and then you ask, okay, so then it's pretty well protected then? We have put some bones, it's here, no, it's just a couple of muscles, no, it's not really well protected. So now we understand that we have a very vital part here that is pretty unprotected. So now we are these engineers, so just stand up, face each other, and try to decrease this target area as much as you can. I really want you to hide your throats. So stand up, face each other, and try to hide your throats. Okay. So how do you do that? Brilliant. You're doing great. Please stand up still. Try to take a deep breath while you have raising your shoulders and lowering chin. No, you can't take this deep breath because you're squeezing your diaphragm. The body's second most important muscle after your heart. So, okay, you can sit down. Just for the camera. Yeah. So, okay. But this is an effect of stress. Many people that are stressed, they go like this. And when stress was kind of invented, they say that, oh, for how long will you be stressed? Yeah, maybe for a couple of hours. So either you would have survived or you would have been somebody's meal in reality. They didn't figure that people would go like this for months until the holidays. So everything that happens when you're stressed goes back to this. Okay, good. So, have you felt stressed sometimes during the last week or month? Somebody? Okay, so was that because you're being hunted by a hostile tribe or a dangerous predator? Sometimes people ask me, could you please define hostile tribe? Could it be HR? Could it be finance? Could it be manufacturing? No, I mean a real hostile tribe, going after you with machine guns and things like that. And if this is not the case, you have actually been stressed for no reason, from the original point of view. Yeah. So today, most of the stress that you feel comes actually from your own brain. It comes from things like this. You're thinking, oh, what if? And then you start going like this. Or it could be like, oh, I must, da, 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 da. Or next week we'll be so busy. And when you say that, you're actually creating a filter. So everything that confirms that next week will be so busy, that will come through. And everything that says, no, it will be pretty okay. It will not be that tough. All these thoughts and feelings, they will be rejected. So the stress of today is actually created in your own brain. And what is the easiest way to change it? I mean, you can be very stressed with your IT system or with another person. And how easy is it to change the IT system, to change the other person? Or it's easier to change your perception of this situation. And we have a lot of thoughts and feelings each day. And a thought is just a thought. You don't have to react on every thought. Imagine that this window here will just crash and in flies Superman. And he says, oh, sorry, I didn't see the building here. I was flying texting. Oh, but what have we said about flying and texting? I know, my bad. I shouldn't do that anymore. No, off you go. Don't text. And you can imagine this. But could it be true? Probably not. So you don't have to react on all your thoughts, because they are thoughts. And if you realize that I very often start this stress by a certain thought, can you change that thought? Or can you change the situation? Maybe you're stressed because it takes so long time to create a spreadsheet in Excel. Maybe you have to increase your skills in Excel. So you will not get that stress the next time you face the same situation. So, most of the stress today is created in your own brain, and you have such a power in your brain. This is a chart of cardiovascular events measured in Bavaria, south of Germany, over a couple of years, from May to beginning of August. And cardiovascular events in Swedish, hjärtinfarkter. Yeah. And you can see as an average, we're looking at approximately 15, 16, 17 cardiovascular events per day. Then there were a couple of days, the summer of 2006, when there were so many more cardiovascular events than normal. What happened in Germany the summer of 2006?
World Cup.
Exactly. The World Cup in soccer, in football. These are the same days as Germany had their games. And then some people say, I know it's very dangerous with sports. No. Because from my understanding, there were not a single soccer player that received a cardiovascular event. So this is actually people sitting at home or in the pub and they go, like this. Game 1. Germany beats Costa Rica with 4-2. Next game they beat Poland with 1-0. And third game, pretty soft. They are in control and they beat Ecuador with 3-0. After game 3, the qualifying round is over, so now they go over in the elimination rounds. They meet Sweden in game 4 and they beat Sweden pretty comfortable. Game 5, that's a tough one. It's a quarterfinal, and they face Argentina. After the game is over, it's a tie, 1-1. And you need to have a winner, so you add a 30-minute extra time. So people are sitting at home and in the pub, and, like that. And the cardiovascular events just pop this day. And after this 30 minutes extra time, still tie, 1-1. So now they add the penalty kicks. People just go, like that. And Germany wins and go through to the semi-final where they face Italy. And they lose. And the game 7, it's pretty interesting because in Germany they have another mindset that we have here in Sweden, because they have won so many gold medals, so they don't really care about the bronze medal. So that's why you don't have any more cardiovascular events in game 7. And game 8, that's the final. So you have that power in your mind. Thoughts and feelings can start processes in your body. So it ends up in a cardiovascular event, for example. So thoughts and feelings can make you sick. The good thing is that it works the other way around as well. There is this placebo effect. So, what's your name? Ulrika. If Ulrika feels, I don't know, but I'm not feeling really well. So Ulrika goes to the doctor and doctor runs some tests and say, Ulrika, no, it's nothing serious, but if you take this pill, we will help your body to recover faster. And Ulrika takes this pill and she also trusts the doctor and she will feel better. But then there have been a number of different studies. Does the pill, can we create a pill that makes people even healthier, just because they have a higher belief in that pill. For instance, if you add a color, so if Ulrika is very low on energy, then you should use very energetic colors. What could that be? Red, orange, things like that. And if she's very hyper and needs to calm down, what kind of images or colors should we use then? Green, light blue, things like that. Also, if we add a logo that people are confident with, then we will have a stronger effect, because people that were giving that kind of pill, they recovered better than the ones that were just giving the white pill. And if we would have an even stronger placebo effect, then they realized that if we would give Ulrika a capsule rather than a pill, oh, now it's real stuff. So that group recovered even better. And there were actually one group that recovered even better than the capsule group. That was when you were given a shot, because now that's the real thing. So you have that power in your mind. It can either make you sick or it can make you healthy, like that. Okay. Sometimes people say, well, stress, it's just positive. I just experience positive stress. Is there positive stress? Oh, yeah. Yes, there is. But there is no stress that is positive that goes on for a very long time. Every part of the stress takes a toll on your body. So if it goes on for a very long time and you don't give yourself enough time for recovering, then it will become negative. But easily explained when it's positive and when it's negative. It's like, are you the hunter or are you the hunted? Are you in control of the situation or are you not in control of the situation? So imagine this. You are out in the woods, you have a basket and you're scavenging for mushrooms. And you're in a very dense wood, and then you enter a field. And then in this field, you're facing a herd of boars. So, do you feel like you are the hunter now? Or do you feel a little bit hunted? Hunted, yes. And then there are 3 main survival instincts. Can you think of them?
Fight, flight, freeze.
Exactly. Very good. Fight, flight, or freeze. Just stand still. Don't do anything. And in this case, you would use that. But if you change the basket to rifle, and you see these boars in the distance, now you are the hunter. Now you are in control of the situation. This is equal to the positive stress. You are in control of the situation. You can aim, and then you have like a boar steak later on. Okay. So easily explained. Are you in control of the situation or not? And what happens in your body and mind when you're under stress?
Heart rate.
Heart rate, exactly. The heart rate goes up. What is good with that? Because everything that happens when you're under stress, it's positive from the survival point of view. So why is it good?
So you're being able to run faster.
Exactly. I mean, it would be very stupid if this predator is heading for me and they're probably heading somewhere else. That would be stupid, right? So, and you run. Exactly. I will point out a couple of things and why that is positive from the original point of view. Your breathing pattern changes. You go from this deep breathing to the shallow breathing. And what is the benefit of that?
We get more oxygen to our muscles, so
Yes.
we run faster.
Yes, we get more oxygen to our muscles so they can work more efficiently. So we can run faster, we get better hit power, for instance. And now I would like to see how good you are at breathing. So we will do a small exercise here. So if everybody stands up and face that wall, just stand up, face that wall. And then turn your head to the left as far as you can, but we don't want to call a chiropractor. And then notice how far you can turn your head. So you will probably have a spot. Remember that spot. And then sit down again. We will now do a simple breathing exercise, and then we will see what will happen with this. How much further you can turn your head afterwards. What you will do when I tell you to, I will show you first. You will do like this, and you will be sitting down. I just stand up so everybody can see. What you will do later, just lean forward and loosen up your neck and shoulder area like this. Then you inhale and raise your arms. Before you're exhaling, let the air do like this, so you release the tension in your jaws. Because I read last year that the usage of these mouth guards, they have been increased by 27% since 2009 because people are sleeping like this. And when you are sleeping, you should really be relaxed, not like this. So you do like, so you relax in your jaw area. So now I show you the full sequence, and then we do it 3 times. But now it goes like this. Shake loose a little bit, inhale. Shake loose again, take a couple of normal breaths, and then you do it 2 times more. Okay, so everybody, you sit down. It's just me that's standing, so everybody. Okay, so lean forward, shake a little bit. So you loosen up your neck and shoulder area. Inhale. Take a couple of normal breaths, and then do it again. And take a couple of normal breaths, shake loose, and then the final time. Like that. Okay. From my experience, between 80 and 90% will be able to turn their head a bit or much further than previously. So let's check. Stand up, face that wall, and turn your head and see what happened. Yeah, good. So, okay, good. So this was actually a simple breathing exercise, but it also helps you to manage your stress, because when you're doing this exercise, you're sending a message to your brain. I'm in a friendly, safe environment, because you wouldn't do this if you were running for your life. So your breathing pattern can actually change the number of stress hormones you have in your body. So if you feel that this was good, why don't do it in the morning and in the afternoon? Just, I mean, it's simple. Or when you are queue up in the supermarket and don't get stressed. yeah. So.
Even just three deep breaths makes a huge difference.
Yes,
so
yes.
You don't have to do.
No, you realize because you're sending. I mean, I wouldn't stand like this in a hostile situation. I mean, it would be stupid. I have a large target area, like so. Okay. So it makes a difference. Another thing that happens is that you might have a hard time sleeping. Or as I had, I woke up early or in the middle of the night. And why this happens is that your brain telling you, well, you are under stress. You shouldn't lay down sleeping. Get to a safe place. Then you can recover. But not now, you're under stress. So. And unfortunately, I mean, people that experience this that are being burnt out, they can sleep almost 24 hours a day, and still they're feeling tired. And unfortunately, there are no medicine today that takes you into the deep sleep, and that's the problem. They are so stressed, they don't get into the deep sleep, and that is when you are recovering. So they have seen mindfulness, mental training, green therapy when you're working with plants and things like that is very efficient in order to decrease this frequency that you have in your body so you can get back into the deep sleep and start recovering. then you might be sensitive for sounds and lights. And the good thing about that is if you would have been out in the woods, you could better locate the danger when your senses are heightened. But I mean, it's annoying if it feels like people are shouting and, oh, the lights are so bright. But that's an effect of stress. In the woods, it would have helped you to survive. You can also forget about things. I think that we all have entered a room and just, why did I enter this room? Or, oh, the password. The good thing about this is that when you are stressed, you should be reactive. You shouldn't spend time on thinking when this predator is on your way. Oh, of course I could run away or get up in the tree, but I think I would like to do something more creative here. You should be reactive. So, very common that your memory doesn't work as it should. Okay. So now you know what stress really is. You know how this can affect you. Now let's see what you can do about it. When I was writing my 5th book, we asked 200 people that if you were giving 26 hours a day, what would you spend these 2 extra hours with? What do you think that 3 main occupations would be if you have 2 extra hours?
Word exercise.
Sleep, yes. Exercise.
Kids.
Exactly. Spend time with friends and family. Yeah. And when you have a lot to do, what do you spend less time on? These kind of things. You should view it the other way around. This is representative of the number of 30 minutes periods, half hours, that a week consists of. 336 half hours. But unfortunately, when we have a lot of things to do, we say, oh, I cut down on sleeping and things like that. That's not smart. I mean, it's not the time you spend at your office that is important. It's what is the output of that. I mean, if you are really tired, your efficiency low, you make a lot of errors, things like that. So, it's important to take care of your exercising, your recovery, and friends and family. I mean, if this happens, a lot of people panic. Oh, my cell phone is low on battery. I need charger. But when you are really tired, oh, I think I can stand up for half an hour. That's not a very good strategy. Because stress is required in order to optimize your performance. When Usain Bolt was at his best, everybody in here would have beaten him if we would have kept him awake for 4 days. So we see, yes, there is a connection between recovery and performance. And sometimes your sleep will get disturbed by different things. Some you can actually help, and some are out of your control. A couple of years ago, normally I wake up like 5:30. That's normal for me, without any alarm bell. But then I started waking up at 4 o'clock, or 4 a.m. And then I realized it's probably because I had a gaming addiction. And I mean, it was not a severe gaming addiction. I didn't play for money and things like that. But I played this game far too much. And what it is, it's actually 2 minutes of stress, because during 2 minutes, you should create as many words as possible. So you swipe like rest, reset, etc., etc. And I was playing this far too much. When I had some time over, or I was waiting for the subway or something like that. And especially I played it far too much when I was going to sleep. So, doing it. I mean, it's like drinking Red Bull prior to going to sleep. I mean, it's stupid. But I was actually dreaming about these combinations. And then I realized, oh, maybe this has something to do with that this is something that affects my sleep. So it took a week before I removed it, because I actually paid $3 for it, so I didn't want to lose this money. But when I removed it, then I started sleeping like this 1.5 hour extra So think of what can affect your sleep. What can you do for changes to have a better sleep? And sleeping is one thing, and then resting is another. It's easy to rest your body. I mean, just lay down on the sofa. But if you have racing thoughts, then the recovery will not be that good. So, if you want to have like rest, recovery for your mind, then it's very good to do something creative. Is there anybody here that enjoys painting, playing an instrument or something? What are you playing? Or
I paint.
you paint? And I guess sometimes you're in a completely different world.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're, and when you are in this other world, you get like resting from these spinning thoughts or racing thoughts, things like that. So it's very good to do something creative because this requires your full concentration, and then it's not a place for these bothersome thoughts or worry. And if you're, well, that would be good, but I'm not really creative, then I have a good tip for you. You can start juggling. And this is the easiest way to start juggling, with these juggling handkerchiefs, because you get some extra time. And the good thing about this is when you're standing and use these, it recovers, or it demands your full concentration. A great Christmas gift. Also, if you're doing late at night, nobody will wake up if you miss. But if you use juggling balls, they can wake people up. So, a very good thing. Just do something that blocks out the other thoughts. Could be creative, could be juggling. Okay. So this is important. It's also important to exercise, because when you're exercising, some stress hormones is actually raised in your body. But the good thing is when you end exercising, they're going back, but to a lower level than before. But then you can also use different forms of exercises. Some might even stress you more. So if you are really stressed, please go out, ride on your bike or something like that. But leave the expectations at home. If you're really stressed, you don't need to add the extra stress of, oh no, I have to run like 5 kilometers under 30 minutes. You don't have to add that extra stress. Just go and take the good part of exercising. If you feel that stress is no problem, then, well, you're welcome to do that as well. Sometimes it might be better to do the exercising on your own, rather to be in a team where others' expectations are imposed on you. So, again, if stress is no problem for you, then you can join the team activities. But if there are a time, maybe you need to take time out from some parts in order to recover and feel better. This was an article from a study that they did at Karolinska Institutet, a teaching hospital, where they realized when you are using muscles, an enzyme is produced or released that protects your brain. So they saw here that it was less risk of depression. So in the meantime, while you're getting more energy, better posture, things like that, your brain is also working. So it's a win-win situation. And also, take care of friends and family, and also colleagues. Because historically, when we were living in herds, if you were forced out of the herd, that was almost the same as a death penalty. So, when you are in these situations, when you feel that I'm secure, I feel safe around these people, then you're also less stressed. So take care of these things. Sometimes you think, oh, I know I need to exercise, I need to take care of friends and family and kids and things like that, but I can't really find the time. Maybe you could combine things. So if you have kids, maybe you can go out and chase them. Yeah. I mean, as long as it's your own kids that you're chasing, it's not so So, at this time, you both get exercising and spend time with your kids. Or if you should go out with a buddy of yours, don't say, oh, should we go out and eat something? Maybe you should say, oh, should we go out and play some badminton or just take a walk or something. So you're exercising and you're spending time together at the same time. So these are like kind of base requirements you need to take care of. The sleeping, the exercising, and the socializing, if we would like to call it. Now you will get a very nice, good, stressed laugh. Because it's kind of the same as when we did these breathing exercises. When you're laughing, you're sending a message to your brain, I'm in a safe, friendly place. Because you wouldn't laugh if you were running for a laugh. So, take a look at the comedies, for instance. So, now I will show a short commercial here. Hopefully you laugh, and then your stress hormones will be decreased.
Emma. Emma. Emma.
So look for laughter. That's a good stress strategy. Now we will learn about a very efficient stress method. My co-writer in this 26-hour day, his name is Hans Blücher. He's a psychologist, and he uses this for a lot of his clients. I tried it myself, and I only had to use it for 5 days, and then I was so much less stressed. So it's a very efficient method. And let's call it stress management. You should set aside time to take care of your stress. So at least half an hour a day. And some people are so stressed, oh, I can't find half an hour. But there are actually 336 half hours in a week. You must be able to find 7 out of these in order to get less stressed. And what you do is that take a notepad, and first you start to brainstorm, identify your stressors and things that are worrying you. So it might look like this. Yes. And when you say, oh, can't think of so many more, then the next step is to categorize these. Look at these. What kind of categories are these in? So some could be work-related, could be about relations, about your own health, or the home and things like that. You will find your own categories. Now it's important to remember that this is not a to-do list. This is not a to-do list, because the sheer amount of things here would probably stress you. How many of you do have to-do lists today? A lot of people. How many of you have not to-do lists in order to do the correct things? It's pretty good to have that, so you don't spend time on things that are not prioritized. What you will do in the next step is to pick 1, 2, or maximum 3 out of each category. And these you will go on with. So that will be your to-do list. So it might look like this. You pick a couple. But you feel that these are the most urgent, or these can do the most to decrease my stress. And then you go on and create an action plan for this. So if we, for instance, take this that is health related, I'm constantly tired, I might have a stomach ulcer, and that is magsår in Swedish. And as you get worried, oh, maybe a stomach ulcer. Oh, but how? Who can tell you if you have stomach ulcers or not? Yourself? Or? So what is the action plan? So you create an action plan for that. Call a doctor for an appointment. That is my action plan. Now, when your brain realizes there is a plan for these things, it doesn't have to wake you up when you are going to sleep. Oh, have to think about what if, what if. So this will relax your brain, because your brain is like an alarm center. Whenever it sees that might be something dangerous or problem, it will alarm you. But when you have done this, if it's, wow, if this happens, then I can do this. It's all taken care of. So, as I said, I tried this for 5 days. So I solved some of these things and I could add some others up on the list. But after 5 days, I felt that even though there were things left on my list, I didn't need to take care of them because they didn't bother me that much. So I did it for 5 days and I was so much calmer. So an easy method. Okay. Now I want you to memorize this number. Which country does this flag belong to? And who is the composer here? Yeah. Stop it there. Okay. Okay. What I did now, I disturbed you when you were using different parts of your brain. Does anybody remember ringing the telephone? Because it's a telephone number. It's my telephone number. So if you're good with numbers, you have my telephone number here. And what happened was, when you try to memorize that, you are in a certain part of your brain that is good with numbers. But then I disturbed you, and I said, okay, which country does this flag belong to? And you don't keep the flags in the same room as the numbers. You have to run to another room. And then, oh, what could this be? Is it somewhere in Europe? No, probably not. Could it be in Africa? And this is Zambia's flag. But then when you were looking for different flags, then I interrupted you again with the music, and oh, we don't have music in this room, so you have to close that room, and then we run into another room, and oh, what kind? Oh, it's classical, and I have classical over here, and again, I just or interrupted you. So, what does this have to do with stress? Well, when you're multitasking, you spend a lot of time just running between these rooms. I've seen a lot of different calculations. Some say that, oh, when you get interrupted, it might take like half a minute until you're up and running again. And some say if it's a very complex task, it can take up to 20 minutes until you're back on the same level again. So it's hard to say how much time I spend, but I saw one study that said about approximately 20% of the time I'm spending just running between these rooms when I try to multitask. And if that is true, then it's worst case that you spend like 12 minutes each hour just running between these rooms. So it's not realistic to think that we will never be interrupted. But say that if we could decrease this 12 minutes with 3 or 4 minutes, then over the period of the working day, we would have an extra half hour working time. Not that we're spending more time at office, but just that we are spending more time with one task at a time. So if you like this idea, then this is a brilliant method. It's called a Pomodoro technique. And the name comes from these timers that looks like tomatoes. And Pomodoro, that's tomato in which language? Italian. Yes, correct. And it says you should only do one task at a time. You should do it for 25 minutes, then it's 5-minute break, and then you can either go on with the same task or you can run another task. But don't spend time on different things at the same time. That's not efficient. This is also a great method if you are procrastinating, because procrastinating could be very, in Swedish, skjuta upp, procrastinera. Yeah. That could be very stressful as well. You know you have a lot of things to do, but you don't start. The most important thing if you are procrastinating is to get started. And 25 minutes, that's a pretty convenient time period. So sometimes when I don't want to do a task, I ask myself, but Jan, can't you do it for 25 minutes? Okay, for 25 minutes I can do it. And then I'm up and running, and that's the most important thing. So if you are procrastinating, just set a timer. I will just do it in 25 minutes, and then I can do something else. And then you're up and running. So.
What was the music?
Pardon?
The music, what?
Well, yeah, very good, very good. That was Under blauen schönen Donau by Johann Sebastian Bach. No, Strauss. You asked me. You asked me. I think he had a middle name somewhere, but sorry. Very good for pointing this out. Yes. So this could be a very good technique. I use it myself. I use 2 to 4 like these Pomodoro periods per day. I work more, but 2 to 4 when I'm very fully focused on just one task at a time. So if I'm writing on a new book, then I turn off my telephone. I should just spend time on working with the new book. Don't get interrupted by the telephones. Another good thing is to set standard for good enough. And obviously, you have to determine what is a good enough standard for your industry or business. I mean, if you are in the airplane industry, good enough standard is pretty high. But if good enough is needed, why do task very well? I mean, if this is what the customer needs, do they want to pay for something extra if that is all they need? Maybe it's better to do 2 things good enough at the same time. Some people want to do everything perfectly, but you can't do it perfectly. It can always be a little bit better. But maybe it's better to do a lot of things good enough. Don't call. Another efficient strategy is to, if you host meetings, add a to-do after the meeting. It's very often the case that you need to send out meeting notes, or there were some questions arise that you need to have answered, and things like that. And if you need to do it, when do you do it in the most efficient way? Immediately after, or put it in a to-do list and try to do it a week later. You do it most efficiently if you do it immediately after. So try when you are in charge of your own calendar. And when we're talking about calendars, for most people, they are most creative in the morning. So do things in the mornings that requires more of your brain. And then you can add things that you can do in a routine point of view in the afternoon. Another thing that creates a lot of stress is when you are in conflict. And the worst conflict you can be in is when you're angry with somebody that doesn't understand it. Yeah. For instance, a politician or something like that. I think this is so good. Holding out to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Because when you are in conflict, you are in a kind of fight, and that stresses you. And sometimes word can stress you. So you can say, you are wrong, and this can be start of conflict. What can you say? You can say this in another way. Or you can say it differently. So the other person will want to get angry with you. More humble ways to say, well, I could agree with you, but then we would both be wrong. No, you wouldn't say that. No. But you can say, okay, but my opinion is, and then we start discussing. Sometimes you say, oh, John, that was very good, but, and whenever you hear the but, then you go into defense mode. Okay, just waiting for what you're going to say. But if you change that but to another word, and very good, John, and if you just add the contact information on the last page, it would be great. I heard a colleague in this speaking industry that said, oh, feedback, people say feedback is good, but she said feed forward is even better. Because when you're feedbacking somebody, they are, oh, go into this defense mode. But if you say, what do you think from now and third on? What do you say about? And then you feed forward. and then you don't have to text that. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If you want to know more about stress, this is a great book. Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers, Varför Zebror Inte Får Magsår. Written by a Stanford professor in biology. Of course, my book is great as well. But in this book, he points out that they measured stress hormones on 2 different movies when they were filming 2 different movies in Hollywood. One that was very tragic and one that was a comedy. And they realized that the people that were in comedy, they had lower amounts of stress hormones. Again, they are laughing, and laughing is a very good way of managing stress. So again, I will show you something here. So by that, I would like to say that if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. So this was a very short presentation of stress, what it is, how this can affect you, and a couple of tips what you can really do about it. So now I give you some time for reflection. So take a minute, and after half a minute I will tell you that now you can tell the person next to you, this is something that I will take from this session. So I give you some reflection time. And then we will end this in 2 or 3 minutes. So take just a minute and just sitting there thinking, oh, what can I do differently afterwards? So just be quiet, and I'll tell you in half a minute to tell your neighbor about you. You can tell the person next to you just one thing that you take away from this session. Tell the person next to you.